it's alive through the winter, you can take stem cuttings in the fall or in the early winter, depending on your climate, and then plant them out in the following spring. And this saves you from the difficulties involved in trying to preserve the rhizome chunks over the winter, which can sometimes be difficult. So there are two ways to approach this. First of all, I have here a stem that is blown down in a recent windstorm. Typically about this time of year we start to get strong winds and it blows the yacon stems down. So here's just one that's windfall. And there are a couple pieces that we should look at here. First, towards the base of the stem, you can see that there are nodes that have started to bud out already, and these are ideal for cuttings. You can take any of these that have started to form buds at the nodes and simply cut the stem, put it in soil, keep it nice and wet, and it will root in several weeks. And I'll show you a different strategy that I use farther up the stem. But first, let's just take one cutting here. It's very easy. So the nodes are easy to spot here. You can see they've budded out in several places. What we want to do is cut in between the nodes so that we can maximize the number of cuttings that we get. So just take our pocket knife here. You can probably hear the geese going crazy in the background. And there we have, this is almost the kind of propagule that you would that you would take right off the crown. It's the very bottom of the stem, and it's really well developed. So this you can just take, plop it right in some soil. Then we're going to water that. Make sure that it's nice and soggy for a few weeks. And that's all it takes. You probably won't have a 100% success rate with this. I'd say my track record's about 50%. But you can cut so many pieces that it's really worthwhile if you have a place to store these over the winter. So the second way I use farther up the stem. And let's go find a piece. We're gonna take a look at this piece right here. So typically what I do for these larger pieces is I cut them free, and you can see that here, farther up the stem, it's hollow. And I've had more difficulties getting these pieces that don't have the buds strongly formed. I've had more difficulty getting them to root. So typically what I do is I remove the leaves, the larger leaves, and then I split this straight down the stem. And careful not to cut your fingers off. So you can see you end up with two half pieces, each with a node, each with leaves that are coming off of it. And this gives us more space along which the stem can root. So I just trimmed to fit the pot. This one's a little bit long. And that's all it takes. Then I take this and I set it just below the level of the soil. So we make that stem disappear. And again, water that in, keep it damp for a few weeks. And you should eventually see signs of rooting all the way along the cut that we took. So if I can remember, I'll come back in a couple weeks and show you what these two look like. But now's the time if you're facing frosts, or if you're getting ready to harvest your yacon regardless. Maybe you should take the time to take some stem cuttings and give it a try. Enjoy!